Hello, hello, crafty chicks. It's Grace here. Happy Monday. It's Monday, isn't it? It's been a long morning, but happy Monday to you. Welcome to the Comfy Nest with Grace. I'm going to be doing an art journal page today. Just this weekend, I released or posted another video for art journaling, both on the YouTube page, on the YouTube channel, and here on Facebook. So I'm excited. I hope you got to see that, and I hope you give me some comments because I love to hear from you guys. Hey, Brenda, whoop, whoop, text it, BFF in the house. Thanks for saying hello. I'm going to grab this feed right here on this other iPad to make sure that I can say hello to y'all, as the Southern girls say. Hang tight. I'm going to grab this. Let's see. I see that Tracy is here. So Tracy from Craft Around the Clock. I'm doing this live demonstration as part of Craft Around Your Clock group. I'm one of the hostesses in that group. And so what it is Tracy has put together a group of fabulous creatives who she has lined up to craft round the clock. So that's the name of the group. It's free to join. You can get in there, and it involves, all the hostesses, including me and lots of others you may love or may not know and would get introduced to. You can get over there and join the group. I put the link to the group in this description so that you can join us in there. It's just a great place to check out if you're looking for some inspiration, new ideas, new creatives to meet. Head on over to there so that you get to join us. Okay, found the feed finally, and then we can do some art journaling. You guys, I'm really getting into the art journaling thing. Like, I love the like, there's no commitment to it. Like, I can just work in my art journal when I'm feeling the need to get creative and have that relaxed time without the commitment or burden of trying to put it on a board, find a board or surface that I can use. And then the pressure, like, where am I going to put that board? Where am I going to hang it up? There's none of that pressure when you're crafting inside an art journal. You do it for yourself. And then what I do love, I'm going to show you my journal now. What I do love is being able to, like, then flip through my pages. I like to write the dates on the pages. And I was in Marco Island, Florida on vacation with my sisters when I did this one. But to then flip through the pages and look, this was the video that I released yesterday, to be able to look at what's been done before with the book pages. So we're going to do another one. This is a kid's book. It was a Mary Pope Osborne book. It's a kid's series, and I'm going to use, actually, I think I'm going to work in this book. I have a couple of them going on, as you can see. This is a Reader's Digest book. Let's see. It's just a Reader's Digest book that I've been doing the same thing. I just have a couple of them started where I go in and, oh, look at how playful and fun that one is. I did that one during a live. And they could all be different. This is probably my favorite page. I'm going to be releasing a video on how I did this one pretty quick here. I'm getting through the editing part of that. So I have a blank page here. It's already gessoed. So I'm going to work on this page right here. Hey, Pauline. Hello. Thanks for saying hi. Hey, Nikki in the UK. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sprinkling, Miss Tammy. When Tammy says that she sprinkles, this is what she's doing. She's hitting that share button, and I can tell that you guys can't see that. Let's flip it around. She's hitting that share button. So thank you to Tammy and anybody else who did share. Hey, Edna. Whoop, whoop. Text BFF in the house. Yay. Sprinkling. Thank you, guys. Hey, Carrie. Yeah, make sure that you say hello when you come on. I love to have visitors. Okay, we're going to work in this book. I already put gesso on here. Gesso is this. You can buy it in many different brands. Like, there are different brands. There's white, black, and clear. I used black gesso on this page, but I usually give these pages a coat of white gesso just to prime them and get ready for the project. So this already has that on there, and I'm going to use this napkin. It's a leftover of a napkin, but what I love about it, it's got this fantastic, like, huge floral on it, but look at the little glass of wine on the side, like, really unsuspecting. So I want to get this on here, and I'm going to decoupage it on here, and I can't fit the whole thing. So I'm going to cut off up here at the edge, that part, because I won't be able to use that part. I'm going to use my little watercolor brush to cut it off. You fill the base with some water, And I'm going to use this later too in the demonstration. So I just fill it with some water. I love these brushes. You use them with watercolor paints, but I also use them with my Inktense pencils that I've been working with a lot lately, and I'm going to use one of them on this project here today. So you fill up the base with water, and you can buy, there are so many different brands. This one is an Arteza, but when you go to the hobby store and you go into where the watercolor paints are, you'll be able to find these. I use this to kind of mark off my napkin, like where I don't want the napkin anymore. Like I'm not going to use that part of the napkin. So I usually mark it off like that with water. And then I usually use like the end of a pencil, like the eraser of a pencil or a silicone tool, and I just rip that napkin. So this I can save to use on something else at some point. Maybe I'll even use it on this project, I'm not sure. And then the rest of this project, or the rest of this napkin, is going to go in here like this. So we are just going to use Mod Podge matte. You can use whatever decoupage medium you want. And I'm gonna get it all over here. I'm gonna do part of the napkin at a time, a little bit, so that I don't get too overwhelmed with trying to do the whole thing at once. And I don't even need this to be perfectly aligned. I'm just watching to make sure that I don't go over the edge on the pages. I want that wine glass to not go over the edge. So I'm holding this down because that's kind of where I want to position it. I'm going to fold it back and I'm going to apply the Mod Podge here. I have a brush already started with some Mod Podge. So I'm going to grab, this is what I'm using. And we're going to wet this page down with Mod Podge so that we can get this napkin stuck in this book, and it's going to make it beautiful. I put a really light coat of gesso on this, you guys, so that I'm hoping we'll still be able to see. I love when the words from the book show through. So that's what I'm hoping is going to be seen. I'm going to grab another brush that I'm going to use as a stipple. So what I do is I push that napkin into the book page with my other brush that's dry, and I'm just going to stamp that in there. That one got a wrinkle that I didn't like. I actually really love when there are wrinkles in my napkin. I love it to look really aged and decrepit and old. That's what I want. So I'm totally good with the wrinkles, but that one was just a crease that I didn't like. Okay, so I got that part done. That's all stuck in the book. Let me check comments here and see what everybody's saying. So that part's all done. You can see it's really fixed in there. And now I can go about and do the rest of it, okay? Hey, Jana. Hey, Mary. Hello, hello. Oh, Diana saw water brushes at the dollar store. At which dollar store, Diana, was it? Because we know there's a few of those. Hey, Deborah. Text BFF. Whoop, whoop. Deborah, I think I sent something out in the mail to you today. You're getting some mail. Thank you, Cindy. And Pauline, thank you for sprinkling, you guys. Tammy has 2 junk journals started. Way to go, Tammy. Hey, Penny. And Pauline, you guys are awesome. Anybody else a junk journaler out there? Junk journaler or art journaler? There are different things. Junk journaling is different, but I feel like it's really artistic too. But give me a shout out if you love to do work in the journals. Give me a shout out. I'd love to know, love to hear from you. What I'm going to do is, this is all stuck down. I'm going to stick this now in the space where the glue is. There's no glue. No decoupage medium. So I'm going to get this stuck in here, and I'm going to do the binding and both sides of the binding so I can get this stuck down. And I'm going to stick it down. Hold on, I got to find a place to put this brush where it's not going to get glue everywhere. I'm going to do it in order, like from this side to that side, so that when I get to the middle of the book, I can work on this crease right here all at once. And I'm just going to use my brush to push that into that book crease, into the binding, okay? Is it going to be perfect? Heck no. I don't need perfect though, you guys, when I'm doing my, especially in an art journal. That's like the beauty of it, truthfully, is things don't have to be stinking perfect. They can just be beautiful. Can't they just be beautiful and imperfect, just like all of us? And yet really pretty and just a joy to do, and a joy to work with, a joy to put together. All right, the rest of this is going to be Mod Podging the rest of this page. And you can see I have a pretty good coat of Mod Podge on there. It's pretty wet, as you can see. And then I'm going to take the rest of this. Hey, you guys, my lights just flashed. We kind of have a little bit of a thunderstorm going on here. So let's hope we don't lose power or Wi-Fi here at my house, because we got some thunder and lightning going on. All right, so look at the napkin, the white napkin pretty much disappears into the book. I have a little bit of an overage right here of napkin, just a little fuzzy spot right here. I'm just gonna cut that to even it off. But the napkin basically disappears into the book, and you can still see the letters, the words from the book, you can still see through this floral. And I love that. I love that. I love that. If you want even more of that to show up, use clear gesso or go right in on the page. The reason I used white gesso is you can see this is an old Reader's Digest book, and it has yellowed quite a bit, and I wanted the white napkin background to be really bright. I wanted it to be bright and beautiful, so I wanted to get a light coat of clear or white gesso on there to brighten that page up. I'm gonna grab a drying tool. We're gonna dry this so we can move on to the next part. Make sure that you say hello. Let me know that you're here. I think also what I'm gonna do is, sometimes when I'm working in a journal, I'll grab either my craft mat or a paper towel or something and put it in between the pages so I can see what's the beginning of this page and the end. I won't get mixed up with what's behind it. So let's get this dried off. And I'll show you, I've got some wrinkles, but I really love them. This is almost dry, actually. I've got a little bit of work right here to try to adhere that napkin a little bit more. And right here, I missed a spot right here with that Mod Podge. So I'm gonna come in with that brush and add a little bit more and just get that down. Right here, I missed this spot. Imagine that, I missed my edges, ladies. Imagine. So I'm gonna add a little bit more glue, and I'm just lightly brushing that napkin so it really sticks down. Jana loves the napkin. This was in one of my bundles. I think it's gone now on the website. If you go to the website, thecomfynestwithgrace.com, you can check out the napkin bundles, or of course, get on the wait list for the Napkin Lovers Club. It's a quarterly napkin subscription that I would love to have any of you join. I just launched that. Super excited about it. We just sent out the first box. It'll be sent out quarterly, so the next one will go out in October. But there's a private Facebook group for those folks where we do other napkin projects inside that group. Lori loves to do art journaling and junk journaling. I do too. Hey, Sharita, howdy, howdy. Hey, Darla. There's my sister Kathy. Hello, hello. Hey, Barbara Cullen. I see you. Can you just use paint, or does it have to be gesso? Christine, you can use paint for sure. You totally can use paint. Gesso, so what I think of when I make the decision, we'll just do a little heart to heart here. Gesso versus paint. I use paint on lots of my pages. Let me find one. So the reason I might use gesso is if I'm not, there's paint all over this page. And this is the video that I just released this weekend that's on this page. You'll find it in the video tab. I think I also put it on the YouTube channel. This has paint all over it and decorative scrapbook paper on the underneath to create the background. The reason I would use gesso over paint is if I'm not sure what else I'm going to put on the page, if I'm going to be using markers or ink pads or glitter projects, if I'm not sure, if I'm going to use watercolor, if I'm just not sure what I'm going to use on the page, gesso is a safe bet because it's a primer for other mediums. Paint, acrylic paint, actually, it's very usually very matte. And so if you're going to use a paint, I would go with a matte paint. And you can always, if you need to, once you get your paint down, you could always add a coat of transparent gesso over it if there was something that you wanted to do on top of it and you weren't sure if they were going to work together well. It's kind of like it's a primer that puts a barrier between what's underneath and what's on top and protects both from interacting with each other badly. I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, you can do both or either one. I just think of when I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the page next, I generally use the gesso. I like working with it, especially the black gesso. This page, black gesso is just so beautiful. Let me see. This was my bubble page, if I can find it. No, it's in the other book. Black gesso is just unbelievably beautiful. It, oh goodness me. Nope, this book. It's extremely matte and it doesn't leave any streaks. I like it better than black paint for a background if I want a black background. That's just me, but I love to test products, you guys. Love, love, love testing the products and seeing what works together. Okay, what I was thinking here is to do a little stamping. I have these little stamps that I love that I use sometimes just to add some visual interest in the background. And then I'm gonna write a phrase on here, I think. Now, I was trying to decide between colors for this little stamp, and now that I'm seeing it on here, I think I'm gonna go with the neutral brown. It's called Coffee, and it's an archival ink, meaning it will be permanent once I put it on there. It's not going to move around on me. I do have lots of stamps and stencils that I could use on here, but I was trying to find something small that I can put on here that's not going to interfere with the rest of the project. So I'm just going to stick, and I love these little diamonds. I'm going to put, even like over the floral in here, I'm just going to stick some of these diamonds just for a little bit more visual interest. And you can see I'm not putting ink on it each time because some of it I want to be faint and some of it can be darker. So here was the next layer, was just adding some of these stamped diamonds here and there. Just again, more visual interest, and it kind of looks like it's in the background. Here I put it right on top of my napkin, but it looks a little bit like it's in the background. This is the fun of layering. I think I'm going to put one more right in here, kind of up a little higher. And I want to write. And so what I do, I have the little glass of wine, and that was like, of course, that's what I noticed. I'm looking at this and I'm like, look at that darling little glass of wine in the corner there. And it looks like there's some script penciled in behind it. That was all on the napkin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this corner right here, and I'm going to write in something that has to do with wine. So what I do when I'm not sure, like I want to write something in, I love wine, you guys. Any other wine lovers out there? If you're a wine lover, can you give me some hearts or something? Show me some hearts if you love your wine. So what I do when I want to put something in, but I'm like stumped, like what do I want to write about wine in my journal? I don't know. I go out to like Pinterest or I go to Google Images and I just type in wine quotes. And then a bunch of stuff will come up that either somebody came up with or it's actually a quote. Like this is the one I think I'm going to use. It's Wine is Bottled Poetry, and it's from Robert Louis Stevenson. And I think I'm going to put that in here, that little quote. But before I do that, there's a bit of purple in the stems of this floral, and I thought I would use one of my pencils. I'll show you here in a second. I'm going to make room for it to show you. I have these Inktense pencils that I've been using a lot, and I've been demonstrating them in the Craft Therapy Club, one of my paid memberships. I love them. I love them. I'm going to use my watercolor brush with my Inktense pencil, which works like a watercolor, except once it's dry, it's permanent. I'm going to come in and I'm going to add some like watercolored purple in this corner. And I think I'm going to add a little bit more in other places, but I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work out. So I'm just going to go really light and add a little bit and just see if I like it. And then decide. So another journal that I have that I got and I opened specifically for this pencil set that I got. I wanted to learn how to use it and to test it out. This was the very first page that I did, and it says Inktense. First Inktense, meaning this is the first time I was using these pencils. And it's like been a month. I've been just working in here, practicing and playing with the colors of these Inktense pencils. In fact, my son did this page. I was working on this page and he sat down with me on vacation with my family, and he did this page. So I've just been like playing with it, and I was playing with like the water, like making them watercolors. because I love this watercolor, like drippy watercolor background. So I think I'm going to try to do a little bit of that with this purpley color up in here as like a backdrop for my quote, because if I write the quote in and there are other words behind it, I don't want them competing with each other. So again, I'm just going to grab, you can see, I'm going to try to get you down so you can see better. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to add a little bit of purple back here. Okay, I may even add some brown, but you see how it's just adding a little bit of color to that page. And I want it to be super watery, almost like a cloud. And the pigments on these pencils go a long way. So I don't have to do a whole lot to get them to move around. And I have my gesso on the background. Again, I used my gesso, which is a primer, so it will be able to work with this pencil really well. Or any, like if I came in with a watercolor pencil with my ink for my stamp. And I chose an archival ink, meaning the diamonds won't move around. That ink won't budge or move around when I put the watercolor on top of it because it's an archival ink. It's a permanent ink. So that's another thing. It's like, you know, just knowing what the craft supplies can do and what they're meant for. So that when you, because I love mixed media and I love layering things, so that when you're layering, you have good success. I'm constantly testing the different things that I have to see, is it going to work? Is it steadfast? Is it going to move on me? Is it permanent? So see, I actually really like this purple backdrop, so I'm going to come in and put it all over. So I put it all over this page, this purple background. I put it all over that page so you can see the difference. Purple background, no purple background. So let's go in on this page. Since I like it, I'm going to go in and do it over here too. And I'm just moving it around over everything that I've done. Although I am trying to avoid the flowers, I'm going in between the flowers where it's white. So picking up some of that purple and moving it in between the flowers. And it's picking up the wrinkles. Ooh, I love that, you guys. I'll show you here in a second. The wrinkles that I love so much, when I put this watercolor over it, it's kind of picking up those wrinkles. Now, I'm going to avoid the glass of wine, but I'm going to go around it, just like I'm going around the flowers. And it's picking up all the texture, which is scrumptious to me. I love it. Okay, so let me show you how when I hit these wrinkles, I have a bunch of wrinkles right in here. And you can see how when the purple hit those wrinkles, they just really pop. And it looks like a little, like it's cracked or decrepit, which I just think, I love it. No, you cannot do these with regular colored pencils, Tammy. You would need either the Inktense pencils or watercolor pencils. And the difference between the two is watercolor pencils, if you go back in over watercolor pencils with more watercolor, without top coating it, they'll all move around on you. Inktense pencils, once you put them down and they dry, they're permanent. And then you can layer more Inktense pencils over them. Watercolor pencils don't do that. Watercolor pencils, if you put it down and it dries, and then you try to come back on top with more watercolor, they're going to move around on you, and it's going to smudge that first layer. That's why I love the Inktense pencils. I'm loving this purple. I'm going to add a little bit more. I think I'm still going to put this quote in this corner. I'm just wanted a little more purple color in here. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, I'm going to dry this off. And then I'll show you what I've been doing for some quotes. Oh, thanks, Christine. That's sweet of you to say thank you. Thanks, Stacy. It's so fun to play. That's the nice thing about a journal. And you guys, these are old books. This is a Reader's Digest book I got at a thrift store. This one I got for free at a thrift store. It was like a kid's book that I got in the free bin. They had a free bin. So it's like recycling these books, which I love. And I love the look of art on top of the book pages. There's a lot of that on Pinterest now. Printables on Etsy that you can buy that are art on top of book pages. So why not create your own? I specifically want to dry this corner so I can write that quote on there. So that's what I'm focusing on. Now, I was going back and forth in my mind with what to use on top for writing the quote. Now, I have lots of alphabet stamps. I could use letter stamps, but I want the handwritten look to it. Yesterday, I had done this over the weekend. Let's see, I'll show you. I had done this little church, and I did it in the car. We were driving back from a little family reunion this weekend. My husband was driving, and we had a trailer on the back of the truck. And when you have a trailer and you're on country roads, it's really bumpy and stuff. So I was doing this, and the car was like bumping and moving. So I was cracking up. I said to him, everything's going to be a little more wonky than normal because I couldn't do anything straight. But I did this little country church in my journal, and then we went to church. And then on the way home, I really loved part of what I picked up at Mass, and so I wanted to write it in my book. So I used, and it's super faint, you guys, but I used a silver gel pen, and it says, I am the living bread who came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread shall live forever. So I put that, I thought it was just perfect for my little country church that I had done on the way there, and then we went to Mass, and on the way back, I was like, man, I'm going to put that right in my journal. So I put that in there. And I had 2 gel pens along with me, a gold one and a silver one. I brought 2 in my little case. And the gold one, I tested it before I used it in my book. I always test, you guys. All right, so this is what I do. I'll take a piece of paper and I'll test the pen or the pencil that I'm going to use. If I'm not sure, if there's nothing on the pen or pencil that will tell you, I'll go in on a plain piece of paper and I'll just put some markings, and then I'll get some water and I wet it. And I try to rub it around and see if it budges or not. Now, the page is wet, but the ink did not move. My silver one stays put, but my gold one didn't. When I did it with the gold one smudged all over. So I made sure to use the silver one in my book. And I wanted it to be metallic and very soft anyway. So you know, that's what I got in the other journal. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. I don't want it to be the most obvious thing that you see, but I would like for the quote to be there. So the quote that I picked is, wine is bottled poetry, because we have the little wine glass here. I'm just going to handwrite it. I don't have the best handwriting in the world, but it's okay, right? It's my journal, and it doesn't really matter. It's for my joy. It's for my consumption. And I hope you guys think of it the same way. Like if you start a journal, an art journal, that it's for you, for your... It's like a regular journal, like a written journal, right? Except you're using art to express yourself. And you can be really free to put whatever you want in it. Now, sure, you can share it with whoever you want, but you certainly don't have to. So don't ever get too worked up about perfection. Just enjoy the process of it. That's what I hope most for you guys when you do that. So wine is bottled poetry is what's going to go in here. Wine. It's going to be super subtle. And I'm just writing it with my hand. Those 2 letters kind of ran together, but that's okay to me. Now, you could come in with like a big, bold black marker if you wanted it to be super obvious, but I don't want it to be the first thing that you see, because I think the page is so beautiful by itself. But I love the idea of having like this like sneaky little phrase in here with silver writing. It's for me. And that to me is kind of fun and funny that you can hardly see it, and it's metallic so you can see it. So I'm going to take the same pen and in my wine glass just to tie the 2 together. I'm going to outline some of the wine glass with this silver, and it's going to make it metallic, just like up here, just like my phrase is metallic. I'm just going to take the highlights of the wine glass. I'm going to do this one a little more bold. And I'm going over the edges to make it metallic so that it matches. And so you may or may not be able to see that bit of metallic silver around that. Yeah, you can see it just a little bit around that wine glass just to tie the 2 together. And then I always, it's just my thing, I come in with a little date stamper. I love to put the date on here. What is today's date, by the way? I have 1 minute left, so this is perfect timing because I'm all done. Today is the 9th, 4, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I like to come in with a similar color. So I'll just use the same brown that I used before. And just somewhere in here on the edges, I just put the date. because for me, it's really fun to flip through and see, you know, like, when did I do this page? I did this page in March. This page was done in March. So I started this book in March. Yep, March 9th, I started this book. And now here I am in August doing this page. So I love to share just a little bit of my art journaling world with you, just to encourage you and inspire you to, like, just go for it. Just discover, explore your products, like your craft products and your craft supplies in your book. It's the best place to, like, try to use it up and get to know what you have in your stash and how they all work together. So you guys, thanks for joining me here. I'm happy to be a hostess with Craft Around the Clock. Go in that group and join. It's super fun in there. A great place to grab lots of ideas. But of course, I'd be honored if you would like and follow the Comfy Nest with Grace so that we can hang out some more later on. You guys, if you're catching the replay, let me know that. I love to go back and read comments and answer questions. I'm just going to check. Oh, thanks, Pauline. Pauline says, gorgeous. I'm so glad you think so. Thank you. Thank you. Napkins are amazing to work with. They make artwork really easy and fun. Tammy says, just beautiful. Thank you. Hey, Lindsay. Oh, Jana says, I have a little country church just like that, not far from me. They are so cool. You're right about that. You are right. Jana, these pencils are amazing. Yeah, Jana, you could totally draw with them and then spread them. That's exactly what I did here. She's asking about the pencils. Yes, you can draw with them and spread them. That's what I did here. Yes, you can. I'm doing more of those demos inside the Craft Therapy Club with this specific pencil set. I've been doing some of these things with them in there just to showcase how to use those pencils. And you're all welcome to join that group if you'd like to. Just go to thecomfynestwithgrace.com and check out the membership options, and you can check out the napkins that I sell in my craft supplies in the shop. Okay, you guys, have a beautiful, blessed day. Thanks for joining me. I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.